Springfield, Oregon. On the morning of the 23rd of November 2014, police are called to the Village Inn after housekeeping staff discovered the lifeless body of a woman in room 219. Police officer Alan Almanson is first to arrive at the scene.
I entered room 219 and I observed a female laying face down on the floor. The next step is to call our detectives and get them involved.
I got the call when I was at home and was told that patrol officers responded after a housekeeper found a woman deceased in the hotel room. Detective Grice and I entered the room and just walked around, assessed the area, looked at where the body was located, the condition of the room.
A room that was in general disarray that might suggest that a struggle had occurred. Nonetheless, the cause of death still was not clear.
The woman was positioned on the floor alongside the bed in the room. No obvious trauma, no blood pooling, no blood spatter, and no obvious injuries.
We need a medical examiner to tell us what this case is, and that's really what we were waiting on, is a medical examiner's determination about cause and manner of death.
As we were there, a text message had come across one of the phones, and the text message was from a number I didn't recognize. It was out of this area, a different area code. We decided, let's contact that person on that, whoever sent that text message, and ask them who they're texting and what they know. She indicated Donna was from Mississippi. She was retired U.S. Army and took on another job after her military career. Had come to Oregon as part of a large group of people to work at a mill in town.
She and her half-brother caravanned out with other workers from Mississippi and were joined by her boyfriend.
Detectives discover critical pieces of information about the deceased woman's stay at the Village Inn.
The female staying in the room was also staying with a male. She paid with her credit card for about half the nights, and the male paid with cash for the other half of the nights. She was in the room for about 22 days. The housekeepers also told me that the woman's car, which they described as a tan or gold vehicle, was no longer in the parking lot, which also raised some red flags for me.
She had significant hemorrhaging on one side of her skull that wasn't readily apparent to detectives and the officer at the scene, that was only discovered during the autopsy.
I wanted to contact Donna's family to have a conversation with them about what happened.
He wanted to answer any questions we had, and which I thought that was just wonderful of him. And he said she definitely put up a fight. It's just like a big void in your chest.
Donna's family was able to tell detectives that Donna's boyfriend was a man called Jonathan Folks.
I worked domestic violence cases exclusively for 2 years. I saw a lot of strangulation cases, and as soon as we saw that, our focus really became, we need to find a boyfriend that was out here. He had some juvenile history involving drug crimes, drug abuse. Locally, he didn't have any priors. He wasn't in our system. And that's the other challenge in working this case. When you're dealing with a victim and a suspect who are not from our area, this was a complete unknown. We didn't know anything about either of them aside from what their coworkers were telling us.
Jonathan Folks is a 25-year-old male, so 20-plus year age difference. But by all accounts, Jonathan loves Donna, and Jonathan's just a little bit more invested in the relationship than Donna was. We started tracking down all of Donna Perry's co-workers, and that was quite a chore to do. The company that brought Donna Perry and her co-workers out had set their employees up at 3 different motels in Springfield. We'd send a team of detectives out to one hotel and go knock on doors and figure out who works for this company and ask them what they know about Donna Perry and her boyfriend.
Oddly enough, the only people at this motel from that work crew were Donna and her boyfriend, Jonathan. They were staying at another motel in town with the rest of the crew. However, they were asked to leave due to reasons management didn't want them there.
Jonathan had only lasted a couple of weeks in his employment and was soon relieved of his duties. I think he resigned in lieu of firing. He was using controlled substances on the job. And that left a lot of responsibility to his girlfriend, Donna. In speaking with other co-workers to these two, I located one who was actually a half-brother of Donna Perry. And her half-brother, Keith, is from Mississippi as well. And He worked for the same company, but he and Donna weren't exactly close for the past several years. So they end up working on the same project in Springfield. And Keith moves in with Donna and Jonathan Folks for a period of 4 days between November 16th and November 20th. During that time, Keith reports to me that he is noticing some issues with Jonathan Folks. A, that he is using drugs, specifically methamphetamine. Keith tells me that Jonathan would follow Donna around kind of like a lost puppy, and that he would constantly ask, where is Donna? When is she coming back? Who's she with? Those types of issues that we typically see in domestic violence.
He called her over and over again, and she didn't answer. We know this from the cell phone records.
Police believe the victim's boyfriend, Jonathan Folks, has escaped in her car and is on the run.
I suspected he was making his way back to Mississippi because based on the phone conversation I had with his mother, she expected him to be coming back. There was a lot of waiting and hoping somebody came across him and let us know they found him. And then lo and behold, we got a couple phone calls.
We got a call from Louisiana State Highway Patrol, and they let us know that they had just pulled over Jonathan Folks in Donna Perry's vehicle and had let him go. And then about an hour later, we got another hit from Pearl River County Sheriff's Office, which is just south of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. They got a license plate reader hit when Jonathan Folks crossed from Louisiana into Mississippi. The Sheriff's Office on that stop saw a purse in the passenger side floorboard, and the Sheriff's Office took that purse for safekeeping.
He made his way back, and she let us know he made his way home. And I didn't really say much else except to say I'll be in touch.
Detectives had Folks where they felt they could get to him, but a call with his brother reinforced their belief that time was of the essence.
I'm concerned for his safety and the safety of others.
I am too,
You know?
if that's how he's behaving. Are you worried about your family at all while he's at home?
He's super paranoid.
We knew it's time to start buying plane tickets.
We checked in a motel ourselves in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, got some rest for a couple hours, and then we went to work of see if we can make our way out and contact Mr. Folks and find out what happened. As we're on our way, I get a phone call from my dispatcher in Oregon saying, hey, I've got a deputy sheriff on the line from Mississippi. They just got a phone call from Jonathan's father saying he would like the police to come out to the house.
Detective Grice and Crowley go to Jonathan's family home, where they meet his stepfather, Bobby Mitchell.
What did he say about what happened? Well, he hasn't told me anything, but he told his mom and he told his brother what he did. And we said, well, where's the mom and where's the brother? The brother wasn't there at the property. He was away at college at that time. And the mother was at work that day. We drove to where Jonathan Folks' mom worked, and we interviewed her.
She said he's been declining mentally to the point where he gets really frustrated and angry. She's concerned he may have undiagnosed mental illness. She said he's addicted to drugs and he's been acting a lot more irrational, and she was worried about him. He sat down with her and his brother. He and Donna had gotten into a physical dispute, and he told his mother that he strangled Donna.
That was the moment that George and I both knew that we had probable cause to arrest Jonathan Folks for Donna Perry's murder. We arrive at Jonathan Folks' residence, and he is inside the house, but Jonathan's brother and his father are outside, and we walk up, we make introductions with the brother. The brother confirms some of the information that the mother had already told us. We asked the family if Jonathan's willing to speak with us, and the family soon retrieved Jonathan, and Jonathan came back out.
Turned the recorder on, and I got a confession from Jonathan about what happened.
How do you feel about it now?
I don't like it at all. I don't think it was the right thing to do.
Why not?
I took a life.
Jonathan Folks agreed to be extradited to Springfield, Oregon.
He was indicted for murder of Donna Perry and for felony possession of methamphetamine. And the jury returned a swift verdict of guilty on both counts. And in Oregon, the sentence for murder is life in prison with the possibility of parole at 25 years.